NXT Deadline 2022 is this Saturday. Who will be the Iron Survivor? Who will walk away as NXT Champion? And will we have a new day in NXT? All of that and much more here on the predictions video. If you enjoyed this, then please do like the video, share with a friend, and subscribe as well. And let's start by talking about what NXT is bringing to the table for this first time ever event, the Iron Survivor match. The concept is going to be 25 minutes long, kind of like an Iron Man match. We're going to have 5 superstars. It will start off with 2 superstars with the match beginning. Then every 5 minutes, a new superstar will enter. One at 5 minutes, one at 10, and one at 15. Which will leave 10 minutes in total for all 5 to battle, and the winner of the match will be who gets most falls in the time slot, almost again like an Iron Man match. Now, of course, every time that you concede a fall, that you lose a fall, whether you're pinned or submitted, you will have to go into a penalty box for 90 seconds. For those who are comparing that to Impact Wrestling TNA back in the day with the King of the Mountain match, I see where you're coming from. But this should be a fun concept. I'm looking forward to seeing how it will play out in NXT. So let's look then at the first competitors. Then let's look at the men's match. Let's look at the 5 people. We've got Axiom, we've got Carmelo, Grayson, Joe Gacy, and Jade McDonagh. A fun lineup there. Many heels in this match makes the most sense in my opinion because, well, we know that we've got Bron Breakker and Apollo Crews later in the show as well that we're talking about here, and of course both of those are baby faces, so we're going to need a heel to challenge them for the NXT Championship. So I like that we've got many heels in this match. Axiom, for that reason, I think will start off the match. To sort of give a little prediction how I think the match will play out, I think that Carmelo will be number 2. The fact that Axiom wants Jade McDonagh, I think he'll have to wait for him. I think he'll be entry number 3. Joe Gacy wanted the number 4 spot, which makes me think Grayson Waller's going to get that. Feels like it's an opportune time to come in. People are tied. It's a way to get quick falls, to put people in the penalty box, then waiting for entrant number 5. And of course, entrant number 5 does have the advantage by coming into the match last, but they have the least time to make an impact, and I think that's what Joe Gacy will do. But before last night's NXT, I thought Grayson Waller was coming in last, but I'm interested to see how it will play out. To pick a winner for you, I'm going to go for Carmelo to pick up the W. I do think he'll be like the Iron Man in this match, and I think it's time for the A champion to go for the A title. It's time for him to be in the top position of NXT. I want to see him go for the NXT Championship, and I'll say who I think he'll be going against very, very shortly. But first off, let's talk about the women's Iron Survivor match. And a quick note as well, as I was mentioning in the men's match, is the same with the women's. The winner of this becomes the number 1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship on the women's side. So it'll be interesting who will be challenging Mandy Rose. We've got 5 competitors once again. We've got Roxanne Perez, we've got Cora Jade, Zoey Stark, Kiana James, and Indi Hartwell all in the match here. It's going to be quite interesting. We've had Indi Hartwell actually confront Mandy Rose, saying she will be the one that will be going for that championship. Of course, she won the qualifying match this past week on NXT. And I think it's kind of interesting as well, because Indi will do what it takes to win. I think that's a fun narrative that we're going to get in this match. We've got Cora Jade, that's the mean girl. We've got Zoey Stark, who recently turned heel. Kiana James, again, someone that's sort of like a heel, was sort of trying to almost buy her way into these positions with her feud with Fyre and Henley at the particular moment in NXT, and we've got Roxanne Perez here. So technically we've still got 2 baby faces, 3 heels in this match, but Indi kind of going that sort of shade of grey at the moment. To give a prediction how I think the match is going to run down, again, I think that we're going to see sort of baby faces, take the long road of this match. So I could see Roxanne Perez perhaps kicking things off. I'm going to go for Cora Jade to come in second, renewing that old rivalry with Roxanne Perez. Going for the 3rd spot, I think we're going to get Zoey Stark into the match. I do think in position 4 we could get Indi Hartwell, and I think position 5 will be Kiana James. So I think that's how it's going to play out with the field. Be interesting to see how it will go with the falls. But once again, I'm actually going to suggest that someone that's been in the match the longest is going to be the one that gains the most here. Although it would be quite interesting to see if Indi Hartwell can get in that position to go against Mandy Rose. I think it's time that we pull the trigger and have Roxanne Perez go against Mandy Rose and become your next NXT Women's Champion. The timing is right. I think Toxic Attraction, their time to be called up to Raw and SmackDown. The time is here. The time is almost now. So I think it's time to have the right person to take that championship from Mandy Rose. In my opinion, that is Roxanne Perez. Looking at the rest of the card, we've got Alba Fyre taking on Isla Dawn. Of course, Isla Dawn made her debut just recently on NXT, costing Alba Fyre the NXT Women's Championship in her match against Mandy Rose. Of course, I believe it was a last woman standing match, and Isla pushed Alba Fyre off a ladder to go through a table. Fun looking spot. For me personally, I hope this is the start of a long-term rivalry. I feel that we've not really scratched the surface of what this rivalry can be in NXT. They may have rivaled in NXT UK, but I've not seen so much of that, so I want the story here as a newer viewer to continue from this. So for that reason, I'm going for Isla to pick up the victory. Like I say, she's a newbie in NXT and she needs to remain looking strong in my opinion, so Isla to pick up the victory. We're going to follow that on with a match I'm really looking forward to, the NXT Tag Team Championships. Pretty Deadly, yes boy, will be taking on The New Day. That's right, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston turned up on NXT this past week to interrupt the Christmas story time with Pretty Deadly to set up this Tag Team Championship match. And I've got to say, I'm really excited about the prospect here, because on one side we've got Pretty Deadly, who have arguably beaten a lot of the teams in NXT, but on the other side we've got one of the most decorated tag teams of all time, and they've never been NXT Tag Team Champions, so that could be interesting to see them actually accomplish that. The New Day haven't faced a lot of the teams on NXT, where they've pretty much faced everyone there is to face on Raw and SmackDown. Maybe a stint in NXT wouldn't be the worst thing. Like I say, New Day versus the Creed brothers, maybe against Indi. There is a lot we could see going forward. Brooks and Jensen, Schism, or as I prefer, the Grizzled Young Veterans. The list goes on and on of potential matches the New Day could have if they were to stay in NXT for a little while as champions. On the other side though, what an experience this could be for Pretty Deadly, taking on one of the most decorated tag teams of all time. The experience factor, the knowledge just to share the ring with the New Day must be something very, very special and magical, and potentially what a big, massive feather in the cap it could be if Pretty Deadly pulled out a massive victory on this show. Now, for me to give a prediction, Kofi Kingston's announced he's going to be in the Royal Rumble, the first to do so last week on SmackDown, so for that reason, I do think Pretty Deadly will retain the championships. The New Day did also hold up the NXT Tag Team titles in that segment this past Tuesday, so for that reason, Pretty Deadly to retain. I'm remaining patriotic, but you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if this went either way. I don't think I complain either. Last but not least then, let's talk about the NXT Championship. Bron Breakker defending against Apollo Crews. The two top babyfaces in NXT going against one another, and an untraditional build that we've had here for this match. We've gone and seen these two in the diner where Apollo Crews spends most of his time, and of course on the boat as well where Bron Breakker has been fishing. That's where we've built up this match with these two superstars, almost trying to one-upsmanship just basically in conversation. No beatdowns, nothing like that, almost giving away game plans as well of what they're going to do when it comes to the show. I can't say that I'm against this idea of building this storyline up. It's been certainly something different, something fresh. Wouldn't necessarily say it's been exciting, but like I say, it's something unique and different, and for that reason I'm willing to sort of open-minded and give it a chance. I think it's been okay to good. I wouldn't say it's necessarily been bad. But coming to the match itself, I still don't buy Apollo Crews as NXT champion at this stage. Bron Breakker is your next megastar of WWE. When they want to pull the trigger and put him to a Raw or SmackDown, he's going to be a big deal, and probably fairly quickly as well. I mentioned earlier in the video, I think Carmelo Hayes will win the Iron Survivor match for the men. Therefore, that could build the championship match of Bron Breakker versus Carmelo Hayes, something we've not seen in NXT for the NXT Championship, and a match that I think we need to see. I do think Carmelo Hayes is the right person to defeat Bron Breakker to become champion at this stage. So for me personally, if Apollo is to become NXT champion, I think it should be perhaps against a Carmelo Hayes, maybe 3, 6, 9 months down the line. At this particular moment for me, Bron Breakker should retain, and we should start building between Bron Breakker and Carmelo Hayes. So that's my predictions. Let me know what your predictions are in the comments below. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, who you think the winners and losers will be. I look forward to interacting with you as well. And like I said, if you've enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button, consider sharing with a friend as well, and subscribe to SCW if you are new here. I hope you enjoy NXT Deadline, a brand new show for the WWE calendar. Maybe the Iron Survivor could be actually in its infancy and could eventually be a Survivor Series match. Of course, War Games was in this position for NXT in the calendar this time last year and for the last few years, and of course now that has actually been called up to the main roster to be a part of Raw and SmackDown. And of course, it's interesting as well, it's 20 years ago since we had the Elimination Chamber debut. It's just quite fun that we have a new unique match actually debuted in this spot. But in the meantime, check out these other videos on the side of your screen. Keep an eye on ICW as well. Plenty more videos will be coming here in the month of December as we build up towards Christmas, and of course then we can start building to Royal Rumble, of course WrestleMania as well, and NXT Vengeance Day, which will be the next NXT POE as well, which I believe they'll be going on the road again as well, which will be very exciting to see a big sort of takeover style crowd in NXT once again. But that's all from me anyway. I said I would stop talking. Here now are the videos on the side of the screen. Check them out. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.